Hockey night in Canada. One of the great cities in the country of so many. The Montreal Canadiens at home to the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. Doesn't matter where they sit in the standings. It's always an entertaining one during the regular season. Haven't played each other in playoffs since the late 70s, and it still matters. That's on CBC. In Detroit tonight, over on City, the Winnipeg Jets and the Red Wings. The Red Wings lost 4-1 to Pittsburgh on Wednesday. They have not lost 2 straight in regulation all season. Jets are in tough. And maybe the most impactful game for the Western Conference standings tonight, the Vancouver Canucks and the Calgary Flames. That game is happening on CBC later on tonight, and that is an important one on Calgary. It is hockey night in Canada, George. Nick Kiprios.
Elliot gets jealous when he sees us do
Elliot Friedman over there. Happy Valentine's Day. Keep swinging over, will you? We've got Christine Simpson in Detroit. We'll hear from her to set up the Wings and the Jets game tonight. But in Montreal right now, and with a voice perfectly tuned for Valentine's Day, Sue the Scott Oak. Set the scene.
Lots of lozenges on the go here, George. Well, the theme of Scotiabank Hockey Day and Canada's teammates expect no success in this game without good ones. So we'll let some legendary Montreal Canadiens make the point, followed by the captain of a major bantam team.
But I want to pay a special tribute here to all my teammates. Without them, it's certainly a very team win and a very team effort.
I've never had as much fun playing with a team as I have with this team.
I've never seen a team with such cohesiveness as this one and such team spirit. And I mean, guys like Jimmy here are just such tremendous team men, and they just help to pull us, younger guys together. It's just tremendous.
The boys are just going right now, and we're having, like I said, a strong year, and we're believing in each other. Every single game, hard work's paying off, and every guy's fighting for each other when we're on the ice.
The boys are just going. Doesn't that say it all at every level, whether it's Logan Cash speaking to Ron earlier today on Scotiabank Hockey Day in Canada, or John Beliveau talking about the Stanley Cup in 1960. It's all about working for each other, and we'll see who does it best here at the Bell Centre tonight, whether it's the Canadiens or the Leafs. George.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oak. Teamwork wasn't just a theme for Hockey Day in Canada. It's been a theme for the Winnipeg Jets over the last few weeks, certainly, and the teams decided to step up when they didn't feel like one played along. For more on what Winnipeg has in store for tonight with the Detroit Red Wings, we go to Motown and Christine Simpson.
Thank you very much, George. Yeah, tonight is the second and final game between these two teams this season, and for Drew Stafford and Tyler Myers, just their second game as members of the Winnipeg Jets since coming over in that trade from Buffalo. Now, coming off of the loss to Nashville, the Jets are looking to bounce back with Michael Hutchinson, and that it will be his first career start against the Detroit Red Wings. Now, speaking of the Red Wings, after 11 straight starts by Peter Mrazek, it will be now the return of Jimmy Howard. He'll get his first start since being injured on January 10th. And yes, George, as you mentioned it, since losing to the Pittsburgh Penguins on Wednesday, the Red Wings have not lost back-to-back games in regulation yet this season. We'll see if that trend continues here tonight.
Thank you very much, Christine and Scott. It's not as fun as cuddles, but it's better than a bowl of cinnamon hearts. There's an awful lot of hockey coming up. Puck Drop is next.
Welcome back to Joe Louis Arena in Detroit as we get set for tonight's game between the Red Wings and the Winnipeg Jets. And, well, for the Red Wings, they and success seem to go hand in hand, and the same can be said for Mike Babcock, as success seems to follow him wherever he goes as well. He's the only coach to win 5 different titles beginning in '94 at the University of Lethbridge. You can see a World Junior, a World Championship, a Stanley Cup here in 2008 to go along with 2 Olympic gold medals. Now tonight calling the game will be Paul Romanek and Mike Johnson with the call, but first let's hear from the anthem singer.
Atlantic Records recording artist from Stereo Jane, Sydney Schmear, for the singing of O Canada and the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, sing, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang loud, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the
And we are all set to go, and I wonder if the Winnipeg Jets are. They are in the foothills, approaching a big summit that they need to climb, but things auguring well for them. Michael Hutchinson will get the starting goal tonight, his first career start against Detroit. And at the other end, he will face Jimmy Howard back in the lineup. He came on in relief the other night in the third period in a 4-1 loss to Pittsburgh. Career against Winnipeg, he's 1-3-1 with a 3.15 goals against average. You know, for the Jets, you wonder, 25 games left. They're rounding the turn, heading for the stretch this season. The theme is team on Scotiabank Hockey Day in Canada. And the Jets, you get the feeling, are a tight-knit group. And let's see if they can pull it together heading down the stretch. Away we go. Paul Romanek, Mike Johnson with you. And you will notice out there the Red Wings with Glendening, Sheahan, and Yurko out against that big Winnipeg line. That's Ladd, Little, and Wheeler.
Already, Paul Maurice calling Ladd off the ice, trying to get away from this matchup. Mike Babcock told us this morning he'd get these guys out there, giving Datsuk and Zetterberg an easier night defensively and hopefully better offensively.
Glendening swoops over to pick up the puck and bumps it in. Datsuk moving up there. So you get the feeling there will be some line matchups going. Winnipeg trying to get it together on the road where they've lost the last 5 road games. They'll have to play much better than that if they want to get into the playoffs. They're there right now, but still 25 games to go. Stewart up back in the net. He's under some pressure. Trouba moves it up. Stafford chips it out there. Puck rolling around. Perreault trying to buzzsaw his way in there after the puck, but Eriksson with it. Sends it back up against the boards. Knocked down. Myers wrists it towards the goal. That was knocked down. Tyler Myers out there, number 57 for Winnipeg. One of the 4 principals in that big trade consummated with the Buffalo Sabres. Leading into that one was Thomas Tatar, and it is covered up by Hutchinson.
For the Detroit Red Wings, they get their #1 Jimmy Howard back in the game. And it's never good to have to pull a goalie mid-match as the Red Wings did against Pittsburgh, but it gave Jimmy Howard a full period. He played the 3rd period against Pittsburgh on Wednesday. Gave him some game action. Now he steps back in to get his first start since January 10th. Of course, his backup did pretty well in his absence. Peter Mrazek going 9-2 while he was hurt. But Howard's the guy. They want him to play well, get his game under control. knowing that he's being pushed a little bit. In behind by Peter Mrazek. Mike Babcock's all about internal competition. He's not afraid to admit it.
And now we've got big line against big line. So Zetterberg, Nyquist, and Abdelkader out there against Little Ladd and Wheeler. And a bird's eye view as they try to force it out of the corner. Puck forced there back towards the net, sitting there, and sort of a half-hearted chip at it, and the puck just rolls in and is covered up by Hutchinson, no problem.
I see Gus Nyquist talking to the referee as him and Tyler Myers were engaged in a nice little battle in front of Michael Hutchinson, and Nyquist trying to get into the blue paint and not even worried about the puck, turn around, cross-checking, significant height and weight advantage to Myers, but look where Nyquist pins him right on top of Hutchinson. And that's how you score a lot of goals. You battle for that space in around the net.
Tyler Myers took a shot off the skate the other night and was in considerable pain. He skipped the optional practice yesterday, but is fit for duty for this game tonight. A big one, and really, not to overemphasize, but they're all big for Winnipeg at this time of the year.
And you knew everyone from Winnipeg had to be holding their breath when late in the game against Nashville, Tyler Myers trying to endear himself, do what's right. That's a one-timer from Shea Weber. Unloads, and he was struggling and had to stay on the ice and could barely move, could barely play, and of course it ends up with a wraparound goal because Tyler Myers couldn't skate at that point, but apparently he's feeling well enough after a couple days to play in this big game against the Red Wings.
Smith tips it up to Datsuk. Just amazing skill. Love watching this guy. He drops it off inside the blue line. And stepped into his helm, but knocked away. Comes back out. Thorburn climbing his way towards the corner. He'll get some support up there from Lowry. Thorburn looking for it. Working out in front of the net was Frolik. He hangs back in the high slot if they can get it out there. Puck comes back to the blue line. Byfuglien zips it across. Wrist shot comes in. Score! Thorburn with the redirection in front. And the Jets grab the lead early in this game.
Exactly the start they wanted. It all begins with Chris Thorburn right here. Winning a foot race, willing to take a hit to create a scrum and battle for possession. And Adam Lowry, Chris Thorburn, they win that battle, keep it alive, eventually work its way all the way back to Dustin Byfuglien. And where does Chris Thorburn go? Right to the front of the net, presenting a target and a brilliant shot from Jacob Trouba. Right to the stick and tips it back against the grain through the 5-hole of Jimmy Howard. What a play by Chris Thorburn on the forecheck, and then good hands in front of the net.
Thorburn with the 100th point as a Winnipeg Jet. And the puck chipped down the ice. Trouba picks up an assist. And the other goes to Byfuglien, and the Jets grab the lead. Puck comes back. Trouba is waiting for it at the line, but controlled here by Abdelkader, pushing it up into the corner. Zetterberg hopping up there into the mix. Puck cleared across, intended for Trouba, went off the skate, now steered up there by Scheifele. Kronwall, Zetterberg. Firing it in there. Red Wings on a change. Peluso takes it up ahead. Scheifele steers it along the boards. He was looking for Gagliardi. And that play gets stuck up at the blue line. Back the other way. Puck cleared in by Miller. Weiss hanging back in the slot. Puck comes back there. Fired in by Smith. Rebound pops out. And Slater with it. He moves it up and ahead. In over the blue line. Peluso going towards the net. Gagliardi in pursuit of the puck. Now it's picked up here by Anderson. Works it up. Weiss clears it in. Back to pick it up is Myers. And the Red Wings making some changes. Jets doing likewise. Puck cleared up, just chopped up there along the boards. Ladd trying to work it to the middle, but it was knocked down, moved up and ahead. Glendening comes up into the corner. Puck up and around. Slapped out there by Kronwall into the De Keyser. Puck up into the corner. Glendening looking for it. Glendening out by the circle. It doesn't pop out to him.
I like the other communication there. De Keyser stepping up on Wheeler. The entire bench from Winnipeg explodes with a heads up, letting them know a guy's pinching down on top of him.
Puck just tipped in by Ladd. Mike Johnson right down between the benches, so close to all the action. DeKaiser turns it over. Puck fired across. Howard couldn't get a hold of it. Comes back out. Trouba chips it up to the corner. Out in front is Lowry. Now he'll come up there in support, trying to will that puck loose. Lowry, Thorburn working at it. Good work by Thorburn, but couldn't maintain control. Puck comes back out. Stewart shooting. Puck rolls in. Howard's got it. And he will hang on. And again, this line out there for the Jets. Thorburn, Lowry, and Frolik doing some damage.
This is how they have to create their offense, though. Forechecks, creating turnovers, being physical, and then just getting pucks to the point to under the front of the net. Worked already once. There's another good angle, creates a turnover. Good shot, and Thorburn with a tip. And Jimmy Howard sits in between his legs, and he can't quite reach it as it's loose for a moment. As Lowry's sniffing around, he goes flying over top. There goes Thorburn flying to the ice. You love to see the sellout in front of the net by the Winnipeg Jets on the offense, and something to watch. Danny DeKaiser, very important defenseman, limped off the ice down the tunnel after a hit from DeKaiser, or from Thorburn. He's back now. We'll see if he's going to be okay to continue to go on, but one more look at the goal. Good heads-up shot here by Trouba. Puts it right on the tape of Chris Thorburn. Nice tip through the 5-hole, and continues a trend, plus 13 in goal differential for the year for the Winnipeg Jets. Getting off to good starts, a big part of their success.
Top of the point, steered up there by Enstrom. Perreault moves it up around back of the net. Scheifele after it. He's trying to get it towards the front of the net. Perreault back out. Scheifele in pursuit there along the boards. Just pushed past Stafford, comes back. Myers steps up, feathers it up off the board. Scheifele up into the corner after it. Perreault up there with him. And Scheifele is rubbed out along the boards, and the puck cleared back. And an icing call on Detroit.
Jets off to a good start, and it's been an interesting couple of weeks for Paul Maurice. Going back to Vancouver, the scratch of Evander Kane, the fallout from that, the trade that ensued, and he's got to keep his team focused on the task at hand on the ice while all that is going on. He thinks he's done a nice job of it. He likes the way his team played against Nashville. He likes the way they practice, the way they're preparing. And now they have to continue to pick up points because teams behind them are rolling along. Minnesota, LA, not going anywhere.
Bufflin over for Sherratt. Fires a wrist shot in chest high, and it's grabbed and held by Howard. So the Jets get off on the right foot. Thorburn scoring. 2:36 into the game on Hockey Night in Canada.
Maybe the most sought-after free agent this summer coming up might be Mike Babcock for the job he has done over the years here in Detroit, and he's got them rolling once again. Clearly going to make the playoffs.
Well, what's he worked up about down there?
He's mad at the late change for the Winnipeg Jets. He's trying to match lines, didn't like the late change, but he likes this. Only 4 losses in regulation the entire year. Last 6 games, dominant performances here at the Joe. And they're trying to fight for home ice right now. Tampa, Montreal, and with numbers like that, you can see why that would be beneficial into the playoffs.
Puck just gets by Trouba. Now he reclaims it for the Jets. Second and final meeting of the year between these two teams. Detroit has played Winnipeg fewer times than any other opponent in their NHL history. Only the 18th ever meeting between a Winnipeg team and a Detroit team. Puck cleared by Weiss. Stewart. Trouba chips it up off the boards, and it's just banked in. Howard out there to play it. Pass to Kaiser and up along the boards. Puck pushed towards the corner. Little jumping up there after it for the Jets. Trying to force it, but not able to come up with it. Here's Ladd. This floats it across. Little up there on the forecheck. Wheeler in there to help out. And the puck played back towards the line, knocked down by Sherratt. He'll fire it in. Big rebound, a generous one came out off the boards.
is what the Joe is known for, those lively end boards, and Ben Sherratt kicks one right out in front.
Byfuglien clears it up. Bouncing around, Ladd was looking for it. Lowry moved it up ahead. Byfuglien up there deep. Comes up into the corner, wasn't able to get it. Jets scoring 2:36 into the game. Thorburn with the goal on a redirection from the high slot. On the move. Up into the corner, Helm looks around, gets it out there. Nice little move by Tatar, gets to the net, and the puck is grabbed and held by Hutchinson. But a nice little move, and not a lot of room to make it by Thomas Tatar.
You got to recognize who's on the ice against you and where you are on the ice. You cannot give Darren Helm a 60-foot run at Toby Enstrup standing still. He'll never stop him in the neutral zone, and Helm, little bank pass to himself, and then the dangle by Tatar underneath Tyler Myers' stick, and hitting goal scorer for the Detroit Red Wings, Thomas Tatar, who's got some magic hands. A little taste of it right there.
Earlier in the year, talked to Mike Babcock. He said Tatar needs to learn how to play every day, and I think he's really worked on that discipline this year. Abdelkader up in the corner, dancing around, looking for a little bit of room. Myers, an unwilling dance partner. Puck comes up. Scheifele starts back. Gets that puck up there deep. Perreault trying to get to it. Stafford was hanging back, didn't come to him. Zetterberg's up ahead of the play. Moved up by Abdelkader. Here's Zetterberg now. Into the corner, dropped the shoulder. Trying to get outside there on Trouba. And the puck comes up along and down the ice. The Jets will hustle in a change. Red Wings doing likewise. Marchenko up there for Tatar. Clears it ahead. Smith jumping up into the mix as well. Datsuk. Here's Smith moving in. Passed it across, and Tatar just failed to negotiate contact that time. Here's Smith. Fires it up there. Puck was tipped away by Stewart. Puck rolling around now. Gagliardi got it out. Here's Datsuk swooping in there. Dangerous. Up to the corner. Trying to get it across in front. It was tipped up and into the netting, and we get a whistle.
The Jets are going to want to take a look at this controlled breakout from the Detroit Red Wings. We just saw Darren Helm go flying up the ice. This time it's Pavel Datsuk. Again, cannot give that much room, and Brendan Smith just about finds Thomas Tatar in the back door. But too many decisions. Caluso with a flyby there and just misconnected as Tatar is looking for his 24th. And you start looking about his company. Top goal scorers, 24 and under. And he's fourth with some pretty prominent names ahead of him in Seguin and Tavares. Really good players, Thomas Tatar, and he's become just another one that Detroit has produced.
He scores big goals too, Mike. He's got 6 game-winning goals. Puck goes out of play there, and he's yet another guy who the Red Wings allowed to season and develop. This organization is the template for developing players, in my view.
Even though players oftentimes don't like that extra year or half year they have to spend in the minors, it makes them prepared to contribute when they get here. And he's a left-handed shot, plays on his off wing, tremendous release and tremendous hands in tight. Can really make moves in a lot of bodies in and around the net to get his chances.
Quick pass up in the wing. This is Wheeler. Comes in, waiting, trying to pass it in front to Byfuglien, who jumped right up there. He was rumbling towards the front of the net, but Wheeler wasn't able to find him.
It's a good effort by Dustin Byfuglien to try to get all the way up the ice. He was in a foot race with Thomas Jurko. He's the one who makes this pass right here. Jurko is right there beside him, and he's trying to get to the back door. Wheeler's waiting on him, just trying to feather it over, but eventually runs out of real estate as Dustin Byfuglien is playing defense again, but you see a little bit of the rover he likes to play when he's back there.
Was moved back to the blue line back on December 5th in a game against Colorado. And that is pretty much where he has been. Myers. Puck comes up here. Zetterberg couldn't knock it down. Frolik looking for it. Here comes Zetterberg. Jumps in. Puck dropped back. Abdelkader's in front. Shot came through. Abdelkader took a high stick. He's got the puck now and couldn't gain enough control to get a shot away. First attempt was a tip, and that didn't work. And then Try to get a shot on the second attempt. Smith. Nyquist plays it back. Here's Smith. He will lug that puck up to the line. Abdelkader to his left, takes it, and he will ring it in there and head over towards the bench. Detroit making some changes. This is Datsuk with it. Actually, Datsuk now swaps off and goes to the front of the net. Helm swooping up there, trying to get it out in front. Puck rolling around. They jab away at it, and it is finally frozen. Tatar was buzzing around. Helm was up there in the mix, but nothing coming.
Well, he was a member of the Russian Five and did an awful lot of that, scoring goals when he was with the Red Wings. Well, just this week, former Red Wing Sergei Fedorov was inducted into the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame. That was on Thursday. Fedorov, of course, won 3 Stanley Cups here in Detroit, along with a Hart Trophy during his 13 seasons with the Red Wings. And you've got to think the next stop for him just could be the Hockey Hall of Fame, as both he and Nick Lidstrom will be eligible this summer. Paul?
Both, have to go in. Lidstrom, one of the greatest defensemen of his era, and Fedorov dominating forward, so much so that a lot of guys refer to a couple of his patented moves as Fedorov moves. Am I right, Mike?
Yeah, he's a couple of ones that he initiated. Find them in just about every single game.
Tatar's out in front trying to get loose while Helm gets it out there. Datsuk trying to take a chop at it. Helm was just stick handling in a phone booth back there. Dizzy and dazzle and trying to work it in front. Datsuk runs into his man. Trouba. Scheifele up towards the line, couldn't get across. Puck chipped up ahead. Oh, what a bounce to Scheifele, moving in, shooting, and knocked down. That was a strange bounce. It came off one of the stanchions on the side, one of the bars that holds the glass up. Howard hangs onto it, but what a gift for Mark Scheifele.
And he had him. Howard was down, just couldn't pull it all the way across. But first is Darren Helm using his legs, stopping and starting so hard to contain. Look at him work. And then Mark Stewart can't close on him. One way, another way, another way. And eventually for a wraparound, Michael Hutchinson has to seal the net as he almost catches him. And that's good work by Darren Helm. He's got space there, but it's just the stick. Jacob Trouba knocks it away. And here's Mark Scheifele. He pulls this a couple more feet, and he might have Jimmy Howard, who's down, taking advantage of that bounce off the stanchions.
Back after it, Byfuglien got there and got it to Sherratt. And Sherratt immediately under siege in the corner there from Sheahan. Sheahan trying to work it loose. And continues to work after it.
Sherratt has been physical in this game along the wall.
They have really liked the way he's played since he was called up.
You're playing with Dustin Byfuglien means you got some pretty big responsibilities as a defenseman. To pair up with Byfuglien, let him do his thing and still be reliable.
He was a defenseman of the year for his minor league team last year, the Ice Caps. In over the line, Little snaps it just wide of the goal. That was a real dart. About 7 minutes to go in this first period. DeKeyser plays it up ahead. Tapped there by Anderson sort of aimlessly, and it's turned over. Peluso. Puck move back up. This is Smith. He loves to jump up there. Bumped into his man. Puck comes across loose. Miller straddling the line will turn in. Puck comes up along the boards. Miller up there in the forecheck. Gave Myers a bump. Anderson after it. Wasn't able to win the puck, and it's cleared back. Brendan Smith skates back. Peluso up there with some passive forechecking. Hutchinson is going to hang on to it with 6:24 to go in the period.
The Detroit Red Wings have been a good team for a long time, but look what they've done since Christmas here. Third best record in the NHL, 14-5, and they did much of that without their number one goalie in Jimmy Howard, with Peter Mrazek getting the bulk of the starts as they've kicked it into high gear. But even talking to Mike Babcock this morning, he's a tough man to please, not entirely satisfied with how his team's rolling along. Doesn't consider himself one of the very elite teams, maybe the secondary class, even though they play as good as anybody.
Kronwall moves it up. Zetterberg, Abdelkader. Big line out there for Detroit. Here's Zetterberg. He's given a bump there by Lowry, but the puck up into the corner. Nyquist couldn't get it. And pocket picked. Here's Nyquist. Oh, picked off. Hutchinson followed it, and he hangs on.
Now this is what makes Detroit so good and so difficult to play against, is that they are tenacious off the puck. Everyone on their team, not just Datsyuk and Zetterberg, but that's Nyquist. Tries to pick one guy's pocket, and Stewart doesn't get it, keeps his feet moving, gets Lowry, and then a pretty good chance in on Michael Hutchinson. But a quick stick, quick feet, and then go the other way. And that's what puts so much pressure on the Red Wings opponents. They always have to keep moving.
DeKaiser moved it across. Puck was fired in there. Quincy moves it over. Helm. He's had a good first period. Very energetic up there, and he moves it around. Back of the net. Tatar with it now. Helm hanging down just in front of the goal. DeKaiser tried to play it back in, but turned over. Here comes Scheifele. Gets to the blue line, no further. DeKaiser plays it across. Quincy. Ricochets it. Big high bounce off the glass. Red Wings make a change. Puck knocked down. Look out. Here comes Datsyuk. He's in there. Oh, he is firing wide. Had a bead in that top corner. Scheifele back in. Moves it up towards the corner. Oh, coming in there, and that was Wheeler who ran his man over, and a penalty coming up. It's going to go against Wheeler. Puck moved up ahead there by Kronwall. Comes back over for Yurko with a shot. Zetterberg after it. Red Wings with the extra attacker out there on the delayed penalty. And finally it is touched. Play whistle down as Ladd got a stick on it. And Wheeler will head off. Detroit will have a power play. And when they do, I bet we'll see Datsyuk out there. What a chance he had just a few moments ago, but just missed.
Don't miss an all-new episode of Mike and Molly Monday, February 16th at 8:30 Eastern and Pacific on City, or catch up on citytv.com.
Tough spot for the Jets now. Full 2-minute 5-on-3. Here's Andrew Ladd. There's the hold right there. Good call. And then Blake Wheeler, who's frustrated with Glendening, right in the numbers. And Paul Maurice talks about his team not really taking bad penalties. Well, you might want to rethink that Blake Wheeler penalty. That's a bad one to take. Put your team down a full 2 minutes 5-on-3 against the best power play in the league, clicking along about 26%.
So double jeopardy for the Jets as two go off. Detroit with the best power play in the league, the best power play at home. And they'll work it around here. Comes out. Kronwall leaned into that one. He stepped well in from that left point position. Zetterberg back over for Kronwall to Zetterberg. Datsyuk is down low to his left, but he goes back across. Plays a bit of catch there with Zetterberg. They will switch up. Zetterberg up to Datsyuk. Zetterberg. Kronwall tips it down low. Puck across in front of the net. Datsyuk with it now. Two-man advantage for Detroit. Zetterberg. Abdelkader is in front. Datsyuk across, right in front, and a nice stop by Hutchinson as he moved across and made the stop, and now everyone's going to come in to have a say in the issue.
Well, Abdelkader was in front of that entire sequence, fell on top of Hutchinson, which drew the ire of the Jets bench. And if you're the Red Wings right now, yeah, you want to push and shove, but you have a two-man advantage. Don't give the referees the opportunity to take one of you off and make it a 4-on-3. 45 seconds into this, couple nice plays. First a one-seamer, Nyquist trying to find the back door, and he bounces off the heel of Datsyuk's stick, can't quite get it. And then the one-timer the other way gets on a Nyquist forehand, but a nice save by Hutchinson getting across, sealing the bottom of the net.
The Red Wings, they pass the puck so well. It's a basic thing, but I think they do it as well as a team, as well as or better than anyone in the league.
They do. 1 to 18 on the ice. They pay more attention to passing the puck flat, receiving it cleanly, and these new one-piece sticks are not your friend when it comes to handling pucks cleanly, but Doesn't matter to Detroit. Helps that they have all this high-end skill for sure, but there's a standard and expectation in the way they practice, the way they prepare about passing the puck and handling it cleanly, and it does translate over to the game.
By my unofficial count, 10 European developed players in the Detroit lineup, and
that might have something to do with it as well.
It might well. Zetterberg moves it up. Zetterberg and Kronwall back at the line. Nyquist with it. Gus Nyquist moves it back. Here's Kronwall looking around. Abdelkader's right in front. Puck comes out. Kronwall gets it back. Sniped there by Zetterberg. Puck worked around. Kronwall with it. Datsuk moves in. Kronwall with a shot. Not much on it. It was knocked down. Datsuk, great job to win it back. Up for Kronwall. Datsuk in front of the net. Moved across. Oh, just hopped by Abdelkader and Datsuk. Kronwall, Zetterberg, Kronwall, ready, set, pass, tipped wide by Datsuk. Great pressure by Detroit. Two-man advantage. They're really pushing it. Zetterberg works it across. Nyquist waiting. Back out to the line. Zetterberg with it. Kronwall shooting, scores! It was just a matter of time, wasn't it? And Kronwall ties it up.
And this is the problem when you give a full 2 minutes to a group like this. They're going to get chances. They're going to have opportunities. And finally, Kronwall, he just picks a corner. Nothing fancy about that play. Slater gets down, takes the bottom of the net away like he should, but this is just a better shot. And Abdelkader in front with the screen, but that's all Kronwall unloading the heavy slapper from the point, evening things up with a 5-on-3 goal. That's Kronwall's first goal in 23 games. The guy they count on offense hasn't been scoring much, but he gets a big one there.
Despite that, he is 4th all-time in the Detroit franchise defenseman scoring list. You think about some of the greats who have played for Detroit. That's impressive company. Still in the power play. Sheahan up there. Works it back to the line. Tatar. Drops it back. Tatar takes the return feed. Shoots. And lots of traffic, and it deflects up over the glass and into the netting. And the teams are back at even strength.
So the Jets give up the 5-on-3, full 2 minutes, and not surprisingly, Detroit does in fact capitalize on it. Watch Abdelkader work in front. Watching the crease, watch the bodies in front, and then watching to get out of the way of that one-timer. Nice read by Kronwall, because Slater's right there. He puts it right over top of Slater's shoulders and head to go on Hutchinson, blocker side under the bar. And that's why he's out of the point in the 5-on-3.
From Zetterberg and Nyquist at 16:54 on the two-man advantage. So we are all knotted up at 1. It's been a good first period. Jets got that early goal. Thorburn with a tip from the high slot. Good start for Winnipeg. Puck moved back outside the line. Quincy. For DeKaiser. Moves it up. Sheahan steps in. Whistles one on goal. And that is stopped and held by Hutchinson.
Busy period for Michael Hutchinson now. 14-4 are the shots in favor of Detroit, aided by the 5-on-3, but it's a big stage for Michael Hutchinson, and he's been very good this year. Him and Andre Pavlik have really established a 1 and 1A rotation, and Paul Maurice has said he's not going to get away from it, and he's not. Pavlik played against Nashville, played well. Hutchinson gets in here, gets his start. I just think they're going to continue the rotation right down the stretch and hopefully into the playoffs.
Puck pushed up there by Kronwall, up around back of the net. Darren Helm gets it out. And getting in there quickly was Tatar, but wasn't able to get a good shot away. Back the other way, rumbling in is Byfuglien. Fires a shot. Knocked down, steered away by Howard. And Byfuglien will hustle out to the slot. Puck moved out, rolls around. Scheifele got sort of tangled up. He didn't have much room to move once he got in there tight. Datsuk giving a little bump, and Stafford wins the puck. He'll hop up there. Helm gives him a bump. Datsuk there to recover. Puck's going to come over to Myers. Bit of room there in that right wing. So he steps up, fires it in. Again, another strange bounce off the glass. Kronwall plays it up and ahead. Off to the races goes Nyquist. Swings wide, waiting for the trailers to come up. And things snuff out. They didn't get there in time. Puck moved up ahead crisply to Thorburn. He will follow it up into the corner. Thorburn. Lowry gets it back along the boards and banging his stick in the ice in frustration was Froling because he couldn't keep it in. Smith moves it around back to the goal. Under a minute to go in period number 1.
Could have been an interference right there on Mark Stewart. Got to Drew Miller well before the puck.
But not called.
Not after a 5-on-3, it's not.
Trouba fires it in. DeKeyser gets some help back there from Shane. Trying to spin out of the coverage, being watched closely there by Wheeler. Quincy plays it out to center. Trouba. Stewart fires it in. Ladd coming up looking for it. Wheeler gets it in front. Ladd is down there, so's Little. Puck comes up, Trouba pitches up from that right point, but can't keep it in. Glendening hustling up there after it. Stewart able to control him and runs him into the sand down in the corner. And that will do it for period number 1. So a goal from Chris Thorburn for Winnipeg and a goal from Gronwall for Detroit. We are tied at 1. Here is George Stroumboulopoulos.
It's time for the Budweiser Red Light scoreboard on a busy day in the NHL. Let's begin with this afternoon. Ottawa's 7-2 win over the Edmonton Oilers. It was Milan McCulloch with 2 goals and an assist for Ottawa. Toronto and Montreal, they are tied at first after 1. Daniel Winnick and Brendan Gallagher, the goal scorers in that game. 3 games just getting underway now, and of course later, Vancouver Canucks and the Calgary Flames. That starts at 10 o'clock on CBC. The Capitals and the Los Angeles Kings will be on Sportsnet. Paul?
All righty, and here we've got a good one after 1 period, all tied up at 1. Scotiabank Hockey Day in Canada, coast to coast. And Mike, Chris, and I had a chance to chat to a couple of the coaches and some of the players this morning in keeping with that theme of their earliest memories of playing hockey. We'll try to get to some of that as the night wears on. Puck comes up ahead. Little. Ladd. Moved across. Wheeler. Works it back to the line. Wheeler again and couldn't hang on to it. Buckland shoots. That was stopped. Puck just feathered back into the Jet zone. Detroit with 14 shots in that first period. 3rd time this year they've managed that total. Not their highest. Trying to fight his way through was Helm. Had his pocket picked there at the last moment. Eriksson moves it in. And Helm right on the doorstep, but no rebound forthcoming from Michael Hutchinson.
Puck management is the key for every team, including Detroit. Thomas Jurko can get this over the blue line inside. He reverses it to nobody in particular. And now Jets get another chance. And Dustin Byfuglien sneaks in for a backdoor one-timer opportunity, trying to sweep it underneath Jimmy Howard. And Thomas Jurko absolutely heard all about that when he got to the bench. And he had multiple coaches in his ear letting him know that that puck's got to go over the blue line.
Looking for a way out. Nyquist plays it around. Abdelkader going after it. Stafford comes around back of the net. Enstrom twists away from the coverage of Nyquist. Back over for Stafford. Punches it up there along the right side. It just comes outside the line. Scheifele was ready to leap after it, but it didn't come loose. Eriksson moves it up in the wing. Abdelkader being watched there by Myers and plays whistle down. A slashing penalty coming up.
And the Jets have gotten it done by committee this year, and you look at all the players, 6 with 10 or more goals, 9 with 10 or more points. Everybody chipping in offensively, including the defensemen. And so they don't rely on any one group to get it done. They have a pretty proficient first line. Tyler Meyer picks up a slash, and it's a healthy one right there into the hands of Justin Abdelkader. Tyler Meyer is fitting right in with the penalty-taking Winnipeg Jets as he adds their leading time shorthanded this year.
Against the best power play in the league, Detroit almost going with another power play goal. 1 for 2 on the power play. Here's Datsuk. Looking for Helm there at the side. Tatar to Helm. Datsuk's open on the back door. Scores! Helm! Second power play goal of the game. Darren Helm gets it. Red Wings take the lead.
Spacing is so good for Detroit here. Puck comes off the boards. They go to a diamond with Sheahan in the middle. Darren Helm looking for Datsuk on the back door, and it's a 2-on-1, and he creates the rebound off Jacob Trouba in front right here. Pops right back to his stick, and he shows it over top of Michael Hutchinson with no chance. But it's the way they isolate players, get the 2-on-1 that they want, and then have some pretty good skill to finish it. And the Red Wings have 2, both on the power play tonight.
Oh, you called it coming into the game, Mike. The matchup of a team that takes more penalties than any other in the league, and a club that scores more in the power play than any other, and I suppose that was a predictable outcome. 2 power play goals for Detroit.
And the power play goals are going to happen, but the 3 penalties, not one of them you'd say was a good penalty resulting in a defensive play or an overly physical play. All are ones that the Jets could do without.
Smith skates across, got there in time. Chips the puck up ahead. Miller hanging back, looking for it. It comes up and around the board. Stepping up there is Marchenko. Good pinch by Marchenko. Comes back out for Smith. Fires it up, and that one got through. Surprising with all the traffic on the way. And didn't miss by much. Puck up into the corner. Anderson looking for a way out. Gets some help. Sheahan works it around, comes over to Gronwall. He has one of the goals for Detroit, scored it on the power play. Puck batted out towards the slot, it rolls around. Glendening was looking for it, knocked down, trying to get away is Frolik, and he will just be content with chipping it down into the Detroit zone. Jets hustle in a change. Early days here in this second period. Winnipeg took a 1-0 lead early in the first period. Detroit coming back with a power play goal to tie it in the first, and they get one here in the second and have a 1-goal lead. Couple of nice little chips, and then over the blue line comes Eriksson, works it across. Hutchinson, nice stop there. Nice and square to the shooter. That was Yurko had the chance, and then Yurko all the way back to not found that pass.
Wheeler was in behind. He wanted that pass. He had a breakaway if he got it first time. The pass back allowed Yurko to get back to intercept it.
Big high chip down into the Detroit zone. Quincy picks it up. He's got company. Perreault gave him a bump into the boards, and the puck turned over. Shifley got it out there. Swing there. A good one by Perreault looking for. Gets another check. Shifley shooting from the tight angle. And right there with the stop was Howard.
Shifley's been as dangerous as anybody for Winnipeg. But again, the Jets are having trouble with the control breakout for the Detroit Red Wings. They got 5 guys back, and yet Jonathan Eriksson goes for a skate, seam pass, and all of a sudden Yurko's got a pretty good opportunity. Jets have to do a better job of at least forcing a dump. And then Jimmy Howard makes another save here on Mark Shifley. Quick little turnover, give and go with Matthew Perreault. Howard there to seal the short side.
That last Detroit goal, by the way, Helm from Tatar and Datsuk on the power play at the 2-minute mark. Gagliardi working up there. Slater was looking for it up back of the net. This is Peluso. Myers will walk it in. Myers takes it around, looking. Byfuglien hanging back at the blue line. Pardon me, Enstrom. Puck just chipped up off the glass. Enstrom with it here. Myers moves it up. And offside on the play. I believe that was Gagliardi who was one step ahead.
It might be icing all the way down. Nope, just outside. Tyler Myers took that penalty. Still trying to get his feet under him on his new team, but you saw a little shake there. Stephen Weiss at the blue line. And this one he's at his best. He's a good straight line skater, good acceleration, can be assertive with the puck. And being aggressive is when he's at his best. Aggressive and confident. And confidence still has to get rebuilt a little bit after some pretty tough years in Buffalo last couple.
Mike, you were traded a few times during your career. How long does it take you to sort of settle in with your new club?
It takes a couple weeks, depending how many guys you might know on the team. You get the systems and just out there settled into the city and realize what's going on in your life. It takes a couple weeks, and it affects your play while that's going on. And that's a challenge for both Stafford and Myers because they don't have any time. They don't have the luxury of time in trying to get settled in and playing their best games.
Yeah, no question. Certainly Myers and Stafford, they've got to hit the ground running because this is a big race that Winnipeg are in the thick of. Puck played up ahead, Datsuk. Puck comes up for Helm. Oh, nice little move. Shoots, scores! Well, chip towards the goal. I believe that went in off one of the Winnipeg players, but let's see.
Darren Helm has been all over the Winnipeg Jets. They've had no answer for him whatsoever. And good sticks by the Red Wings, creating turnovers, and Darren Helm gets it and faces up, cuts back on Jacob Trouba, and just drifts one in to the top corner. Datsuk in front, Stewart in front, and Hudson doesn't quite pick it up.
I thought it went off Stewart.
Yeah, hit off something there to change angles. It was going to go through the crease.
We'll wait and see what the official is. Puck was batted there by Quincy with a high stick, so play whistle down. No official announcement of the goal yet. We will get it to you as soon as we get it, but that's official. It's 3-1.
The Wings are up 3-1. I think Pavel Datsuk is going to get credit for that last goal as it just grazes his jersey. Watch his left arm. Watch his jersey ripple right there. Absolutely catch a piece of his shoulder and then gets in behind Michael Hutchinson. Because this puck, I think, was going to miss the net. And just a slight change of direction off of Pavel Datsuk was enough to give the Red Wings a 2-goal lead. But again, Darren Helm has been terrorizing the Jets defenders with his happy feet tonight. They had no answer for his speed.
Yep, they give it to Datsuk.
Yep.
Helm picks up an assist, and you've mentioned it a couple of times. He's having just a terrific night for Detroit. One of those simple things, you hear coaches say it all the time, keep your feet moving, keep moving, and Helm just a great example of that. Puck shoveled up by Stafford. Bufflin up there, looking for it. It'll come all the way back out. Chipped into the corner by Little. Here's Little. Feeds it up. Bounce off the boards. Dipping in was Myers. No, yes.
That's going to be Wheeler, I think, poking that one in at the end of the rush. Well, what a rush it was by Tyler Myers. We just showed his straight line speed. And when he plays with a little bit of confidence and assertive decisions, he can be very effective with the puck. Shows it right there. He gets his puck in the neutral zone off a turnover. Kyle Quincy, number 27 for the Red Wings, stuck standing still with a bad gap right here, looking for a change. And Tyler Myers doesn't defer, even though he's got a 4-on-2. He uses his speed and takes it all the way to the net himself. Gets that big leg out, protecting it. And then I think it's the long reach of Blake Wheeler that actually beats. It does beat Matthew Perreault to the puck as they were jousting for the goal there. And that's a huge goal for the Jets, who pulls it back to within one. And that's better stuff from Tyler Myers. That's excellent work, recognizing the situation and getting on his horse Kyle Quincy's stuck. He's standing still, and he blows right around him. And then coverage breakdown, and both Jets are there to poke it in. Blake Wheeler will get credit for it. And they needed a response after giving up that third one, and they got it.
Just a great rush from Myers. And 3-2, Jets right back in this one. Here's Myers. Fires one up. Enstrom hops up there. Enstrom over to Myers. Oh, he had a notion there. He tried to drop the shoulder and go to the net, but he lost the puck. Smith pokes it up to the line. Here he comes. Brendan Smith drops it off. Advocator, big shot. Zetterberg shoots. Try to punch it across in front. More of a pass shot than anything. Nyquist. Pushing it in over the blue line. Gorleek. Takes the return feed. Stepping up to the line. Looks around. Dropped it back. Enstrom comes up. Datsyuk. Stewart hops well up there from the left point. Wasn't able to keep it in. Tatar. Datsyuk just missed it. Wheeler. Dishes over. Steered in by Perreault. And that is grabbed and held by Howard.
That's going to be a penalty coming up here. And Marchenko is going to go off for an interference on Blake Wheeler, and I guess the Jets were due for a power play after taking the first few penalties in this game. Marchenko is trying to seal off Wheeler, trying to get to the front of the net, and ends up tripping him up. Keeping your feet moving, and it's right there. Pitchforks him down. Easy call for him to make. Really not necessary with Jimmy Howard going to control that puck easily. And so for the Jets, who have given up 2 on the power play, a chance to try to close the gap in the special teams battle in this game.
Their power play ranked 20th in the league overall coming into this game, 15th on the road. They were 1 for 5 in their last game on the power play. Big chance here. Wheeler is parked down just off the edge of the crease. Puck comes over to Little. Shoots. Wheeler in front, tried to tip it. That is his forte. Puck moved up ahead. Wheeler really works in that. At the end of every practice, you'll see him working on tips, and he says Mark Recchi was the best he ever saw doing that. He tried to learn from him. Byfuglien gets it up ahead. Perreault, bit of room. Takes the scenic route around, back of the net, works it out. Oh, and it just gets by. Puck comes over to Byfuglien. .103 to go in the power play. Lots of time. Myers plays it up and ahead. Streaking through. Right in there with Scheifele. Now he's got it still. Works it back up towards the blue line. Myers waiting. Over to Scheifele. Looking around. Scheifele trying to set something up. Drops it down low. He'll go across towards the front of the net. This is Stafford. Works it over to Myers and wasn't able to wheel the pass in.
That's twice now. First Wheeler, then Myers looking to move the puck before they quite handled it.
Here comes Stafford in over the blue line. Drives up there. Frolik is with him. Loose in front of the net. They jab at it and score. Drew Stafford was down in front. And the Jets have tied it up.
The new additions making their impact felt. And this time it's going to be Drew Stafford. Just taking the puck strong down the wall. Floats it in, and great job Wes McCauley. Look at him in the corner there. He brings the whistle to his mouth to blow it down, but then recognizing Jimmy Howard drops it, and he drops it all the way into the net. Stafford doesn't even get a piece of it around the backside. He knocks it in with his own glove, but great recognition by the referee, Wes McCauley, not blowing that dead. And Drew Stafford with his first as a Winnipeg Jet to tie things up.
Long way to go, but I think out of the gate, most people were saying that the deal with Buffalo favored Winnipeg, and it is paying them dividends very early.
Myers with a nice rush, causing a goal. Stafford with a nice rush. Now, take a look That's Wes McCauley down in the corner on the left or right of your screen. Look, it gets us right there. He wants to blow it dead, but recognizes cannot do it just yet. Had he blown that whistle, goal would not have counted. And so for the Jets, good job by the referees being aware of the situation, and good speed wide by Drew Stafford getting pucks to the front of the net. You can challenge this Red Wing defense if you get ahead of steam at them. The challenge is getting that clean rush opportunity, but if you get it, you can challenge them.
Stafford with the goal, Myers and Frolik with the assists. And we are tied at 3.
Such a good response for Winnipeg.
A great response. They were down by a pair. Battle back, and they have tied it. Lots of hockey to play.
Drew Stafford has tied this game up with his first goal as a member of the Winnipeg Jets. And you know, when you think of big trades, you don't always think about the impact they have on the families. For Drew, he got the news of the trade just enough time to go home, say goodbye to his wife, Hallie, their 5-week-old son, Mason, before jumping on a plane to Nashville. He packed 3 suitcases full of clothes, has no idea when he'll be able to get more. He said as tough as it is being away from family, he can't hide his excitement at being with his new team. Paul?
Well, playing games that count. At the end of the day, players, it's stating the obvious, but they like to play in important games. He wasn't doing that in Buffalo. He is in Winnipeg all of a sudden. Here's Stewart. Sweeps it across, stepping up there, Trouba looking for a bit of room. He's got Ladd out in front, or had him. Stewart with a shot, knocked down. And puck cleared back. Stewart back there to pick it up. Stewart, a teammate of Drew Stafford's, by the way, back in the World Junior Championship in 2004. Stewart was the captain of that team. Stafford played on it. That was the U.S. team that won gold for the first time at the World Junior Championship. Nyquist came up. He lost it. Scheifele has been all around the net. Gets it back for Perreault. He fires it up wide. Here's Abdelkader. Nyquist plays it in. Enstrom. Oh, what a giveaway. My goodness, Toby Enstrom. Turned that puck over. Could have been very costly. Fortunately for him, wasn't. Abdelkader rubbed along the boards and pulled down. We got all tangled up there with Myers. Puck loose in the corner. Nyquist. He's dangerous. Works it back out towards the blue line. Puck down low. Zetterberg centers it in front of the net. Perreault tips it up ahead, and it's steered out. Abdelkader. A man alone up there as the Red Wings who are fine-tuning on the change. Corbin plays it around back of his own net. Tatar up there on the forecheck. Enstrom. Pass up on the wing. It's intended for Corbin. Frolik up there buzzing around looking for it. It comes up. Here comes Tatar. He can move. Slams on the brakes to shake off the coverage. Here's Helm. Sharp angle. Comes up around the boards. Datsyuk. Trying to ferret that puck loose. Puck bounces down. Datsyuk. He was knocked to the ice. Looking for a penalty. Didn't come. Puck played up there by Lowry. Fighting his way loose in front. Oh, good chance for Frolik. He was right there. Lowry's off the edge. He's got it now. Lowry back to the blue line. Bufflin shoots one.
Oh, good tip by Frolik on the way in, too.
End of a long shift for Datsyuk, and he's not going to get there. Bufflin, he can wheel in over the line. Bufflin up there with Gagliardi. Slater was up too. Puck chipped that down by Miller. He's going to skate up after it. Peluso watching him. Quincy pinched up from that right point.
Offside!
And it came out. Sherrod played it up. That's knocked down. Chipped up ahead. Weiss was looking for it. Quincy plays it back now. Weiss just steers it in. And a high fly ball to shallow center field. Grabbed by Hutchison, and he hangs on to it.
Some anxious moments for the Jets on their own end, and Toby Enstrom trying to pop this one to nobody in particular. Puts it right at Nyquist's stick, but he was looking, I think, for Zetterberg back door, but you got to be more sure than this, because that's a 20-goal scorer. You put it right onto his tape. And the other end, this line has been very good. Thorburn sauce it over. Frolik heads back door. Lowry gets a poke at it as well, 2-3 times. Jimmy Howard turns to the side, but Chris Thorburn, one of the better Jets tonight's game as well. Not just because of the goal.
Trouba. He was given a thump there by Yurko. Erickson got it in over the blue line. And play is whistled down. Hitting the deck there was Yurko.
Penalty coming up to the Jets, though.
Red Wings have 2 power play goals in this game. Dangerous on that man advantage. Best in the league, and they'll get a chance when we come back.
Anthony Anderson and Lawrence Fishburne star in a new comedy about assimilation and just trying to keep it real. See how comedy runs in the family. Blackish, Wednesdays at 9:30 Eastern and Pacific on City. Also available on citytv.com or the City video app.
Jets are going to be shorthanded again, and Mark Stewart gets caught reaching his stick right there on Yurko's hands, and then Jacob Trouba comes flying over the top. Stewart doesn't like it, but anytime you let go of your stick because you're hooking someone, it means you're hooking someone. And so now he, one of their prominent penalty killers, has 2 minutes or less in the box.
Detroit with 7 power play goals in their last 4+ games. And 2 of them here tonight, 2 for 3 in the power play.
The Wings have 4 forwards, 1 defenseman out there on the power play. So if you're a forward, Gagliardi, good wheels. That's Stephen Weiss who's chasing you down. Always want to try him, see what you can make him do, stop up, make him play a little defense. And it's never a bad idea just putting a puck in on net, getting a whistle in the offensive zone while you're killing penalties.
Here comes Gronwall. Blows by Wheeler at center and then almost handed it back to him.
Wheeler had that one read the whole time. He was looking for that drop pass.
Frolik up to Buffalo. Nice little move. Steps one towards the goal, and it's grabbed and held by Howard.
Buffalo never afraid to take a chance regardless of the situation, but it was good work by Blake Wheeler. Read his scouting report. Look at him. He's hanging in behind Kronwall. He knows Weiss is back there, and as soon as he gets that puck, he's right on him to turn him over. And that is the kind of advanced scouting the specialty teams do before every game. They know what the Red Wings like to do on their power plays, on their breakouts, depending on the group, and Blake Wheeler paying attention, reads it properly, creates a turnover.
This is Tatar. .122 to go in the Detroit power play. This is Datsuk. And over the line, he will dish off and head towards the goal. Puck played back by Shane. Here's DeKaiser. Tatar's over at the right point. Datsuk. DeKaiser, poorly executed ending to that. Or poor execution resulting in a poor ending. Here's Tatar. Datsuk works it across in front. Failed to click there. Works it back to the blue line. Helm is in the high slot. Shane is down by the net. Puck worked around. Comes out. DeKaiser shoots. Not much in the shot. And it was knocked away. And Gagliardi gets it out. And Red Wings will get a few of the big guns over the boards. Zetterberg comes out. DeKaiser setting the floor. 28 seconds to go in the power play for Detroit. Nyquist comes in, and the play's offside.
Well, talk about Blake Wheeler being a smart player, recognize situation. How about Pavel Datsuk? Reads the previous pickoff. Look at this little subtle, well, that's a fake drop pass, and he loses Brian Little. That is just brilliant stuff right there for Pavel Datsuk. So subtle and smooth, and then the long reach turnover, and tries to get a saucer pass across to Darren Helm, who would have been in alone, but just a little dose of the brilliance of Pavel Datsuk.
2 cups, 3 Selkies, 4 consecutive Bings, 4-time Olympian. What a resume. What a player.
Maybe the most respected player by his fellow NHLers in the league. Marvel at his skill.
Zetterberg forging his way through, looking for something. Abdelkader was up there with him, so was Nyquist, but turned over. From the angle there, trying to fire it in was Slater. And a good penalty kill by the Winnipeg Jets.
They needed that one, too. They fought so hard to get back even. Don't want to fall behind again.
What a resilient performance so far from the Jets. Puck fired in by Nyquist. In pursuit of his own rebound up there. Enstrom plays it back. Scheifele, an option up there on the right side. He's got it now. And feathers it across. Enstrom jumping in. Moving up there deep. Enstrom comes around. Looking for a receiver. Plays it all the way back there. Just keeping it in was Myers. Got the shot. And that is stopped and held. Nice play by Myers, who kept it in there at the blue line. Just.
Kraft Hockeyville will announce the top 10 communities on March 14th. Visit khv2015.ca for more details. Brought to you by Philadelphia Cream Cheese.
You mentioned it. Tyler Myers just keeping this one on top of the blue line. Gets a good wrister, and then Blake Wheeler in front of the net. Another tip. Trying to draw it 5-hole on Jimmy Howard. And the Jets are getting a lot done by activating their defensemen off the rush.
Circling and firing with Stafford, and it's stopped and held by Howard.
The Jets now have 4 offensive defensemen. You think about it. Enstrom, Byfuglien, Myers, as well as Trouba, all like to jump up, create offense, and when you can add those secondary layers to your attack, it makes it much more difficult to defend. And all 4 of them have the green light to go whenever they want from Paul Maurice.
This is Quincy. Chops it in over the blue line. It's going to roll up there. Yurko looking for it. Glendening was hanging back. Glendening going for the front of the net, and puck didn't get there. Trouba plays it back to the goal for Stewart.
Right here on your feet. Going.
Puck moved up. Little snaps it over there for Trouba. Trouba again. Red Wings on a change. Over to that wide open left side. Lack moving in and didn't have control really. Puck rolls around. Little clears it in over the blue line. Jets on a change. Just over 2 minutes to play here in the second period. They've gone back and forth, and we're all tied at 3. Byfuglien back in his own zone, just kind of get
off me, Thomas Tatar.
Yeah, just a bump and down he went.
Swatting flies.
Hold on.
A little cream of Tatar. Puck rolls out in front, and Thorburn couldn't get there. Here comes Helm. Gets it up ahead. Datsuk looks around. Tatar up there after it. Picked Byfuglien's pocket that time. Work back to the line. Smith rifled one. Comes down. Sharp angle. Fired across by Marchenko. This is Enstrom. Takes the return feed and steps up there to center. He'll play it in. Smith back to pick it up. He's under some pressure. Up there with the pressure was Perreault. Abdelkader on the move down that right side. He's got Nyquist with him. Abdelkader fires it up there. Here comes Zetterberg over to pick it up. Plays it back to the line. Puck worked across now. Eriksson fires one. Big rebound coming out in front. Scheifele there to gain control and get it to Myers. Myers snaking his way in over that blue line. Play went offside. Just.
And Dustin Byfuglien was an all-star this year as a defenseman. You can see what he could do. Thomas Tatar trying to get on the forecheck, and yeah, I don't think so. As he gets underneath his shoulder, dumps him to the ice, and takes the puck and gets going the other way. And see what Dustin Byfuglien has done throughout his career. Now, some of this has been at forward, some of it's been at defense, but the goals are nice. But look at the game winner, 26, and the 8 overtime goals. That is impressive stuff. Much of that done on defense. And he is a unique talent, a unique player in the NHL.
I saw him play a game, Buffalo, a few weeks back now. It was a Saturday night. It was in Winnipeg. They were playing the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, the Red Wings are not the Maple Leafs, and you can't have that kind of performance every night. But Mike, he was as dominant individually as anyone I've seen this year. He was flattening guys. He had 3 points. Just a dominant showing. He can really do it when he gets in a groove.
He is such a physical marvel. He's a big guy. He's obviously heavy, 260 or so, but he's such a good skater and can accelerate shockingly fast for a guy who is as big as he is.
The Leafs could not solve him at all that night. Now, that's not too faint praise, because there have been many guys who the Leafs haven't been able to solve this year.
Yeah, but they're not the only team, because when Dustin Byfuglien is engaged physically and he's skating, well, you see what happens if you try to hit him. Thomas Tatar, you just bounce right off him. He can steamroll guys left and right. And when he plays defense as he is now once again, he can manage his body and his minutes on the ice even better, where he doesn't get quite as tired during a shift. When he was a forward, it's a little bit more taxing getting in the forecheck, stopping and starting, and after 30 seconds he would wear down. Not so on defense.
And what Paul Maurice will tell you about him, it's a great little phrase he has. He says Byfuglien has a great hockey IQ. Penalty coming up here. It's going to go against Detroit and Winnipeg with a late period power play chance with 19 seconds to go here in the second.
A little adjustment by Paul Maurice with the lines. He's put Drew Stafford up there on that #1 line with Little and Ladd, and dropped Wheeler down with Scheifele and Perreault, and they've been good in this second period. Much better 5-on-5 than they were in the first. And it's a good puck movement and body movement again by Stafford. Moving his feet, protect the puck, and you see the little tug on the arm there by Eriksson is enough to draw the penalty. Open hand, pulling on the arms. It's not much, but it's a penalty.
And it comes back to Byfuglien. Tight ropes along that blue line. Slides it up and ahead. Little gets it down low. Comes back out. It was intended for Little. It's knocked to the corner. Wheeler after it. Works it back out. And final few seconds will count down. The Jets will start the third period on the power play. And we have got a good one here, folks. We are all tied at 3. The Jets battling away, staying in that playoff race. And it should be a great third period.
Welcome back to Detroit as we get ready for the third period. Well, we've heard about the importance of teammates today, and for the Winnipeg Jets Hockey Academy, it's an initiative through their True North Foundation that's making a real difference for kids who wouldn't otherwise get a chance to play hockey. Through sport, they develop a connection to their community and to their school. It's great to see the Jets, like so many NHL teams, giving back to their community through the game of hockey. Paul?
Well, and on the Scotiabank Hockey Day in Canada, you get stories like one Paul Maurice told us this morning. His earliest memories of playing hockey, he thinks he was about 8 years old, and we all can identify with this. Nighttime, backyard rink, with his buddy Bobby Orzetti, and the street lights came on, it got dark, and they turned on all the lights at the back of the house in the bedrooms to faintly light the rink, and he'd be out there till all hours with his best pal up in Sault Ste. Marie.
Said is where he first discovered he put a move on a guy one-on-one, and it actually worked. As a precocious 8 or 9 year old.
So big chance for the Jets here to start things off in the third period, with Eriksson in the penalty box for the first minute 35 seconds. And the big guns out there for Winnipeg. Little going towards the front of the net, looking for the pass. Wheeler's right up there too, and he's got it now. Puck play back to the line. Byfuglien trying to fire one through. Perreault. He was thinking about feeding Byfuglien back at the blue line, but kept it in deep. Comes up and around. Byfuglien couldn't keep it in. Here's Perreault. Up to Big Buck. Puck played across. Wheeler. Over to Byfuglien. Drops it up ahead. Perreault looking. Dodging around there, trying to find some room, plays it back out. It was on Byfuglien's backhand. He works it across, moving up. Little fires it up back to the goal. Wheeler couldn't get to it. It comes up and around, and Byfuglien couldn't close the gap. 40 seconds to go in this power play. Both teams making changes. Here comes Byfuglien. Up to center. He'll fire that puck in. Stafford jumps up there after it. Scheifele's up there too. Scheifele back for Byfuglien. Works it over. Byfuglien, top of the point. Worked it across. Byfuglien again. Over for Scheifele. Ready, set, shot. Picked off and grabbed by Howard.
That's good puck movement, good body movement for the Jets. Getting control of the offensive zone, working around the top of the umbrella. And Mark Scheifele eventually ends up with this puck. And he's got to find a way for Frolik to get over into the eyes of Jimmy Howard. Don't get sealed off on the weak side. Someone's got to get in there, so he's got to look around you. Doesn't have a clean line of sight. It's just too hard to beat goaltenders if they see that puck, and you see Howard had a lane that entire time.
Enstrom poised back just inside the blue line. Off to the right hip of Scheifele. Puck comes back to Enstrom. Works it across. Puck punched in by Myers just wide. Enstrom has a very tippable shot, his teammates will tell you. Just right when he gets it in towards the goal. Not too hard, not too soft. Won't get a chance here, though. Puck goes up over the glass and out of play, and the teams are back at even strength.
And Drew Stafford got on the board here. Little things on a power play. Watch his legs jump right in there. That's a one draw by Zetterberg, but Stafford gets there cleanly first and gets full control for the Jets, and that's how wingers can help their centerman out there. Even when you lose draws, pucks are still up for battle.
Well, and a great example of a team that excels at that, Mike, is the team the Jets are playing, the Red Wings. Puck chopped up into the Winnipeg bench.
Tomorrow, Sunday, on Rogers Hometown Hockey, it's the Penguins at the Blackhawks. Plus, Ron McLean hosts the pregame show live from the Sportsnet mobile studio in Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on City.
Face-off back at center after that puck popped into the Winnipeg bench. Ron McLean with the honorary citizenship out in Eastern Canada these days. He was out in Newfoundland, now in Nova Scotia. Part of our country that has produced some amazing hockey announcers. Bob Cole from Newfoundland and the great Danny Gallivan from Nova Scotia. Lowry trying to get it out in front. Puck comes across. Here comes Smith, and over the blue line, shoots, picked off and held by Hutchison. Just to close the thought there, there was a great feature on Danny Gallivan that ran earlier today. It's up online if you want to check it out. One of my broadcasting heroes, and it's a very nice feature with Dick Irvin talking about his old broadcast partner.
A big moment here for Michael Hutchison and the Winnipeg Jets. Tie game, third period. You see he is leading all rookies in games started with 25 this year. Peter Mrazek, who just got 11 in a row with the injury to Jimmy Howard. But Michael Hutchison battling to try to find a spot on the all-rookie team as a goaltender. Little individual accolades, but mostly trying to get his team in the playoffs.
Here's Helm, and battling away. Not surprisingly, and a real great battle there with Trouba. Just trading it. Helm's been strong on length. So is Tatar. And it's knocked away from Tatar. Kronwall plays it back. Little hopping up there trying to get to the puck. Kronwall plays it over. Eriksson clears it up. Datsuk on the move. Trying to beat two Jets. Wasn't able to do it that time. And not beyond him at all to beat two, sometimes even three opponents.
Be so careful when you challenge Datsuk. He's got that long stick, and he can often poke pucks past you if he decides not to stick handle right through you.
Quincy. Miller up after it. Weiss trailing up in the play. He's in the slot, but the puck doesn't come out front. Scheifele trying to play it out. Tapped up outside the blue line. And the puck skips up into the Winnipeg bench, and we get a stoppage.
Paul Maurice made sure to let his team know just how important this third period was. That second period was terrific for Winnipeg. They turned things right around outshot the Red Wings 16-6, and they created the turnovers in the neutral zone, and that resulted in rush opportunities, offensive zone time, as opposed to what the Red Wings did to the Jets in the first. So we'll see which team controls that neutral zone here in the third, likely gets the win.
Byfuglien plays it up in the wing. Here comes Scheifele steaming up there, shoots. He got it to the forehand, but the puck wasn't sitting for him, and thus he didn't get a great shot away.
Scheifele's been dangerous. He's been around the front of the net, just hasn't quite gotten the clean release on his pucks, but good seam pass to speed for Scheifele, but it's rolling the whole time, and he never quite gets it to sit down before Quincy gets a stick on that. But foot races are where you want to put any defenseman into. Scheifele does a nice job there with Quincy.
Puck rolled around back of the net. Sherratt gets it up against the flow. Puck chopped down by Jurco, and Jurco is going to go off as he cut down Byfuglien, and it will be another power play chance for Winnipeg.
That's got to be a trip. Cut up to Thomas Jurco. And Jurco heads to the box.
26, Detroit.
Byfuglien protecting it right there. See that right leg come in, and that's not an accidental kick on the back of Dustin Byfuglien. That's intentional. Chopping down is a great way to describe it, Paul, because it takes a lot to knock Dustin Byfuglien down like that. Jurco comes in with the leg sweep and puts the Jets back on the power play.
All right, so big moment here for the Jets on the power play. Lots of time to go in the third period, 16:01, but we are all tied at 3. And the puck comes back. Byfuglien had a notion, but didn't want to get caught. And the puck floated in there by Anderson, and Hutchinson at discretion, the better part of valor on that occasion, and he hangs on to it.
This top line, which has carried the Jets for so much of this season, for the last several years, Ladd, Little, Wheeler, has gone quiet the last 6-7 games. Wheeler's got one tonight, but it's a big moment. These are their big players. Jets hope one of them can rise to the occasion and get the Jets in the lead.
Well, the hour maketh the man, and it's a big opportunity here for someone. Puck moved out. Little plays it all the way back. And here comes Byfuglien. Plays it up ahead. Little gets it up. Wheeler, oh, he was all alone coming up there on the right side. Back up for Byfuglien. He'll play it across. Ladd, shooting, scores! Andrew Ladd puts the Jets on top with a power play goal. My goodness.
Took a while to get going till finally the Jets got themselves under control, and Matthew Perreault had a nice game driving wide with control. They missed the backdoor chance right there to Blake Wheeler on a rolling puck, but Andrew Ladd just flows to the center of the ice, and then he releases this puck. And when you watch when he shoots it, his hands are very close together. Allows him to keep the puck a little bit further away from his body, get it around the shot blocker. Watch how close his hands are. Right at both of them by the top of his stick. Tremendous strike to put that kind of velocity, but it changes the angle of release, gets it past the shot blocker, and past Jimmy Howard.
10th year NHLer, big part of this team, leads the club with 18 goals, 27 assists, and 45 points, and make that now 19 goals. And Winnipeg with a 4-3 lead. Zetterberg plays it back to the line. Smith fires one towards the slot, rolls around up there. Nyquist was looking for it. This is Zetterberg, drops the shoulder, looking towards the front. Zetterberg still comes up and around. Marchenko was up there but not able to keep it in.
Nice job by Thorburn, though, winning that race, winning that battle, getting the puck out. The Jets were running around a little bit.
He is really at a game tonight, hasn't he, Thorburn?
He's not really a third liner that you'd think of due to the puck skills, but he does a lot physically, brings the energy, and he's beloved by his teammates.
Scored the Jets' first goal of the game. Wheeler on the move. And the man they call Wheels displaying some there, but wasn't able to gain possession. They'll get another chance here. Perreault fired it across. The pass was behind Trouba, who jumped right up there aggressively from the right point. This is Perreault. Tucked it up there to Shifley, who clears it in and bumps shoulders with Helm as well. Puck comes up. Here comes Datsuk. Works it up. Weiss shoots. Fired it just wide.
Backhand seam pass from Datsuk, though. 50 feet with some zip on it.
And on the stick. Here comes Weiss. Just slipped by and out of the way of Byfuglien, who had him in the crosshairs. Sheahan up along the boards, and play is called. And a slashing penalty coming up. Last goal for the Jets. Watch him. Ladd gets it. Winnipeg on top, 4-3 on Hockey Night in Canada.
Andrew Ladd into the box for the Winnipeg Jets as he picks up a slashing penalty. Usually it's when you break the other guy's stick, but first Ladd, he breaks his own over top of Stephen Weiss. There's the penalty, and then you watch as Ladd is drifting off to get a new stick. Pause it right there. TJ Gagliardi jumps. He's the guy closer, and right on the boards on the left part of the screen is Andrew Ladd. Too many men on the ice. The Jets got away with that one as the whistle went quickly thereafter. And so it's just a 5-on-4, what could have been another 2-minute 5-on-3.
Detroit 2 for 4 in the power play. Best power play in the NHL.
It's been a special teams game so far.
Detroit with a couple of power play goals. Winnipeg with the power play goal. Trouba plays it down. Gagliardi up there trying to come up the works.
Jim Slater, oh my, almost took down Datsuk behind the goal line, and Mike Babcock giving a long look to the referees as he's looking for one.
And so did Datsuk, who's about 6 feet away from him. Here comes Datsuk, dishes off. Puck drop back to Tar. Gets it down in front. Puck rolling around. Helm is down there. Sheahan as well. And the puck is lofted all the way down the ice. 1:18 to go in the power play for Detroit. Down by 1 against Winnipeg. DeKeyser. And they turn it up here at the Joe. And puck dropped back there. Nyquist thought a defenseman was behind him, but he headed over to the bench. Detroit were making a change. Here comes Weiss. Plays it up in the wing. On the move. Nyquist gains the line. Comes in there. Weiss trying to return it in front. And a nifty play there by Tyler Myers to block the pass. Here comes Wheeler. He tried to cut through and had the puck knocked away.
He had Cronwall on the pivot. If that gets through Cronwall's feet, that's going to be a breakaway for Wheeler with that speed.
Puck played up ahead. Advocator had it knocked away by Byfuglien, who was right up there on it. 26 seconds to go in this power play for Detroit. Cronwall snaps it across. Steered in by Nyquist. Stewart gets there and gets it out. Here's Weiss. In over the line. Got it up there along the boards. Nyquist. Here's Smith. Works it over. Looking for Nyquist backdoor. He's got it here. Works it up. Smith. Nyquist. Penalized player back on. Weiss nudges it wide. And the teams are at even strength. And on the move. And I mean on the move is Ladd. He's flying up there and tried to get around on the outside. And had the puck poked away. This is Brendan Smith. Chips it up ahead. Puck knocked down. Down into the corner, going for the front was Glendening. Comes back out. Nice move by Smith. He's up there. And then had it poked away from him. Puck played back out by Myers. 2 good defensive plays by Myers. DeKeyser just throwing it across. Shifley up there after it. Enstrom shoots. And that was a tester for Jimmy Howard, and he hangs on to it.
Paul Quincy's so upset. Drew Stafford did everything in his power not to fall on Jimmy Howard, but easy to. He stayed off the back of Howard. Sure not to take a penalty. Early in that 5-on for the Detroit Red Wings. Pavel Datsyuk heading back to his own end. And Jim Slater's coming in, and this is a penalty. That's a full little can opener, little shove. No call. That's okay. Continue on. Detroit gets an opportunity. Gus Nyquist explodes out of the pile. Good play by Tyler Myers breaking up. And then here you see Cromwell right there on the pivot. Once you open up your feet, you're in trouble. But he just gets a piece. And another good stick from Tyler Myers. You see that range on that long twig of his coming in advantage, killing penalties.
Now, Mike, in that little move, was he attempting a variation on what players call the Fedorov?
No, not quite. You got to drive a little wider, slide it under the stick. You don't try to go through the legs in your Fedorov. Use your speed just to get it underneath the stick.
Helm, ball couldn't gain the blue line. Thundering back the other way. Down that wing is Little. Dropped it back. Wheeler fired one in. A tricky one that was batted away by Howard. In over the line comes Tatar. Looking around, Tatar gets it up to the corner. Helm, he's been all over the place in that offensive zone tonight, and he's got it now. Twisting and turning. Helm tried to get it out in front. Tatar was right there, and it's knocked away. Here's Quincy. Knifing over there to get that puck. Plays it all the way back to Kaiser. Waiting for the Red Wings to finish a change here. Just a shade past the halfway point of this third period. Winnipeg leading 4-3. De Kaiser. He will start off. He finds Quincy. Looking up ahead, he had Zetterberg streaking down the middle. Puck knocked down there by Gagliardi. Had his pocket picked. Zetterberg coming in. Looking towards the front. Shoots one. Abdelkader was going to the net as well. Abdelkader trying to coax that puck loose along with Zetterberg. In tight up there against the wall. Puck comes out. Here's Zetterberg again. Battling with Trouba. Puck comes around loose. Smith. Well up there from the left point. Down to the corner. It hit the referee. And that was a lucky bounce for Detroit as it forced a turnover. Puck dished towards the middle. Lowry right up there. This is Nyquist. Nyquist coming up, Abdelkader to his left. He would just dump it up into that corner. Abdelkader couldn't get to it. Here comes Scheifele. He's on the move. Perreault is with him. Scheifele trying to nudge his way towards the middle. Perreault working away. This is Sheahan coming up there with Weiss at the line. He flips it up into the corner. Up to play it is Hutchinson. Hutchinson was... Weiss gets it up around back of the net. Eriksson looks around, feathers it back to the blue line. Crowell trying to play it across, knocked down. Here comes Stafford. He's up there, but he's all by himself. The reinforcements pour in there now. Stafford tried the wraparound. That was his best effort. Little gets it out. Puck knocked over the boards. Miller plays it out. Good pressure there from Winnipeg. And an icing call on the Red Wings.
Action in both ends. We get down the late ends of the third period. Henstrom thinks he's going to play the puck. Instead, he runs right through Michael Hutchinson. They do well to get back in the net and cause a problem. And look at the save here of Jimmy Howard. Game saver on Andrew Ladd. Not only get across, but to get out and off the goal line to take the angle away, as I thought he was looking at an empty net there. Big save by Jimmy Howard.
Red Wings happy to have him back in after missing 10 games with a groin injury. Puck played up there. Yurko coming up after it. Wheeler just tips it out over the blue line. Quincy. Puck rolls around. Yurko couldn't get a handle on it. Wheeler moving in, shooting. Howard, another nice save as he flipped out that right pad in rapier-like fashion. Puck picked up here by Quincy. Moves it up ahead. Moving in. Miller. Wheeler plays it up. Lowry tried to go to the middle. This is Smith. Brendan Smith just fires that puck in. Hutchison gives up the rebound. Helm is in the slot. Moving in. Datsuk scores! Dazzling Datsuk ties it up.
What a play from Pavel Datsuk. It starts with this little harmless skipper that Hutchison has to fight off. Brendan Smith keeps it alive, but watch Adam Lowry staring at the puck. Who's right behind him? His man, Pavel Datsuk. Number 17 right here. He gets puck watching underneath his stick, and all of a sudden Datsuk dances in. And the quick stick handles create the lane, little fake, and my goodness, what a finish for his second of the game. Pavel Datsuk ties it up at 4.
Datsuk with a pair, that one much prettier than his first one, which went in off of his jersey. And we are all tied up at 4, 6:22 to go. Oh, the chips on the table in this one. Passing the head, was looking for Abdelkader. And Heisen call. Datsuk with the goal. Smith and DeKaiser with assists at 13:27.
Nice job by Brendan Smith to keep this play alive on the awkward dump in. But then Thorburns the low man. Lowry's the winger who's got to cover a forward coming off the wall because Brendan Smith is down below the goal line, and he just gets caught staring at the puck, and you cannot do that when you got Pavel Datsuk out there in behind you, and he makes no mistake.
Top of the point, Stewart fires one and it pings off the iron. Great chance there, and Nyquist back trying to create another one for the Red Wings. That's broken up. Wheeler dancing down that right side. Up there into the corner after it, he thumps up there with DeKaiser. Great chances, both ends. Here's another, Scheifele out in front, back to the line. Trouba shooting. That was knocked down on the way through. Ouch.
Blake Wheeler got that one. The price you pay for hanging in front all game.
This is Quincy. 5:29 to go. Pass up in the wing there, intended for Tatar. He will head into the corner, burrowing in there after that puck, and he comes away with it to the line. Big chance for Smith as he drilled one towards the goal. We are tied at 4. The Jets were a breath from going ahead. Shot from the line, bang, flush off the iron.
It's time for the Budweiser Red Light scoreboard. You can see Toronto and Montreal still tied at 1. That's late in the third period. The Islanders now with the 6-3 win over Columbus. Both Josh Bailey and John Tavares with 2 goals apiece. Thomas Vanek has 2 goals for Minnesota in their 4-3 lead over Carolina. And of course, the late games coming up after this one. Vancouver and Calgary on CBC, and it's the Capitals and LA Kings on City.
Interesting observers that Minnesota score, who are on quite a run with Devan Dubnyk right now.
Dubnyk 9-1-2. Here comes Byfuglien. Shoots. Howard with the same rebound. Just fired wide there by Little. DeKaiser. Under some pressure up there in the corner. Stafford almost had that connect as he fired it towards the front. Here's Helm. At the line, I think the play was offside. Datsuk trying to bat it down.
Mike Babcock is all over his team right now with the turnovers they're having outside the blue line. Tell him to get the puck in deep.
Tatar. Pocket picked by Scheifele right in front of the net. Oh my goodness. Perreault won't get a better look than that. And it just failed to click.
Just couldn't see it come through the pile. Skated right past it.
Helm plays it back. Grönwall. Snapped up to Helm. He comes in over the line, looking towards the front. Sheahan was in front of the goal. Puck didn't get to him. Tipped up there by Lowry. Fights his way through. Big chance. And he's stopped by Howard. Fine effort from Adam Lowry as he battled his way through. Lowry after it now along the boards. Puck comes over to Gronwall. Gronwall plays it up ahead. On the move, Glendening. Up into the corner. He'll get it worked over here. Red Wings on a change. Zetterberg's up there hanging back. Now he's in there. Zetterberg, Glendening, bird's eye view for you as they try to coax it loose. Little gets it up. Puck knocked down. Frolik stepped across center and just cleared it in. Up there, down into the corner now. Little after it. Ladd comes up. He bumps his man. Jets really throwing it all in there. And trying to grab the lead in this game again. Nyquist gets it back, knocked down at the line. Myers moving up. In there deep, Myers trying to work with Stafford. Here's Myers. Tried to get it in front. He had Ladd down there. Nyquist clearing the puck in. Abdelkader up there trying to pressure Scheifele. Red Wings on a change, however. Puck moved up by Enstrom. On the way through, Scheifele sneaking up there on the right side. Couldn't quite get to the puck. Here's Datsuk. He's got some room. That's all he needs. Just a little. Datsuk up there to the blue line. Plays it in. Here's Wheeler. Scheifele chops it back for Bufflin. Just over 2 minutes to go in regulation time. We are tied at 4. Quite a night here at the Joe. Scheifele up after it. Knocked his man down and heavily into the boards. That's Quincy, I believe. And he gets up rather groggily as Scheifele bumped him as they were both closing in on the puck.
Scheifele just trying to get on the forecheck on Kyle Quincy. And, he puts his stick right in the skates of Quincy there. Unintentional, but right there. See him poke the skates out, and Quincy goes hard into the boards. Scheifele fortunate not to draw a penalty on that one because that's a trip. And it looks like Quincy's going to be okay. He's a little bit shaken up. He goes in there heavy. It's a dangerous spot. Just trying to find your stick over in front, trying to find the puck, but you get the skates instead. And Mike Babcock looks a little perplexed with that no call. As he says, no penalty there? And I don't think that nod is entirely serious. Not in agreement with that non-call.
But there is no penalty, and we are tied at 4. Puck comes back out. Trouba works it over. One-timer didn't make it through. There's Bufflin who tried to pull the trigger. Trouba. He will start off. Jacob Trouba will circle back. Bufflin. Up along the board. Puck steered in. Ladd up there looking for it. Here's Lowry. Gets out. Tried to wrap that around. Bufflin. Chips it up there deep. Eriksson. And Eriksson takes his time and moves it up. Very deliberate. Zetterberg up there ahead of the play. Gus Nyquist plays it in. He comes up looking for it. Abdelkader to Nyquist. Back to Abdelkader down in the corner. Puck rolls around. Under a minute to go in regulation. Nyquist plays it up there. Abdelkader twisting and turning. Trying to get away. Looking towards the front. He's got Zetterberg there. Back to the line. And a poor pass across for DeKaiser. Came outside the line. And play is whistled down.
And Mike Babcock right now thinking about perhaps calling a timeout. That was an icing. He's going to let his guys play it out. Zetterberg out there to take the face off. Things are getting a little heated down here between the benches, Paul. This game's gotten on the line in the third period.
Well, Detroit have shown steady improvement since the start of the year. And of course, Winnipeg in a real battle for a playoff spot.
The 2015 ICC Cricket World Cup began last night. Watch all matches live and in HD. Contact your local service provider or visit getcricket.ca.
39.2 seconds to go in regulation. We are tied at 4. Face-off down in the Red Wing zone. This gentleman has distinguished himself tonight, playing a strong game, looking to get comfortable with his new team. And as I mentioned earlier, Mike, the chance that every player likes to play in meaningful games.
Yeah, it's been a while since that's happened for them in Buffalo, and got to be excited to jump right into the thick of a playoff chase. To blow that one down again, probably reset the clock, as that puck never got to the ice. Hit Matthew Perreault's hand on the way down. So likely put 39.2 back on there, 39.1. And reload with Mark Scheifele, the traditional centerman, taking this draw.
Detroit much better than Winnipeg on faceoffs heading into this game. 4th in the league, Detroit over 53%. Winnipeg 21st in the league in faceoffs. Best teams are 52% and up.
It's the one right now that matters for Mark Scheifele.
They put 39.2 seconds back up on the clock, and off the draw, Detroit controls. And Nyquist gets it out.
More offensive zone face-offs. Detroit will get to make their change. Pavel Datsyuk, not surprisingly, jumps over the ice, but looks like Paul Maurice will stick with his group, putting lots of faith in this revamped second line. Wheeler, Scheifele, Perreault. These guys aren't in the same conference anymore, so overtime doesn't matter. Whenever you get the 2 points, doesn't matter as long as you get the 2.
And Wheeler dropping down to this so-called second line, and Stafford going up to play with Ladd and Little. Little adjustment tonight from Paul Maurice. It's paid some dividends. Scheifele up there looking for it. He was pinned along the boards. Datsyuk gets it up. Helm pushing it down the ice. No ice. Myers back to collect. Plays it up. Under 15 seconds to go. Puck moved up. Here's Helm. Slams on the brakes, trying to shake off Enstrom. Helm driving towards the goal. Had Datsyuk out there. Puck played to the line. Goal wall, and time runs out. So we get through regulation, all tied at 4. Overtime coming up next on a Hockey Night in Canada.
It's time for the Budweiser Red Light scoreboard as we get ready for overtime. They're going to overtime, or they're in overtime in Montreal as well, with the Maple Leafs and the Canadiens. Again, later tonight, it's Vancouver and Calgary on CBC. The Capitals at the LA Kings, and that one is on Sportsnet 1.
Overtime here. Jets 4-2. Red Wings 4-6. Shutout possibly after that. Let's see. No matter how you cut it, terrific effort from both teams tonight, but particularly the Jets playing a road game. Here's Datsyuk, beats Woods, and he was stopped. Point blank right there by Hutchinson with a dazzling little save.
Datsyuk looking for the hat trick. Simple little give and go with Darren Helm, and anytime you get 4-on-4, get the puck into his hands, good things will happen. Isolates Trouba, dishes it off, drives the seam. Buffalo doesn't quite get over to close him off, and he gets that quick little release, trying to go 5-hole, and Hutchinson with a good save.
Trouba. Puck tapped up. Thrown wall. Good work there along the boards. Persistence gets it up towards Helm, but he was checked by Trouba. Stepped in, knocked it down, but Datsyuk's there to cover. He's got it now. Datsyuk, 2 goals tonight. Dishes off. Helm moves in. Tried to weave his way through. Door was closed at the last minute, and now it's the Jets' turn. Back down the ice. And Datsyuk back in the back check to break it up. Puck moved up. Sipped in there, stopped. As Zetterberg let that shot go. Wheeler Chasing that puck down. Wheeler wins the puck, gets it back. Enstrom plays it across. Myers shoots, and a high shot. The key there was to control the rebound, and there was none from Jimmy Howard.
So the Red Wings open the overtime. Pavel Datsyuk gets a good opportunity. Then next shift, here comes Henrik Zetterberg, and Hutchison just gets a piece of that one with the tip of his glove to turn aside Zetterberg. And Jimmy Howard, you're right, not a difficult shot, but no rebound is what matters to him.
In overtime, all tied at 4, 3:47 to go. This is Brendan Smith. Loves to carry that puck, and he carries it in here over to Sheahan. Oh, pocket poked at the line. Here comes Perreault. Ready, steady, and a goal line stand. Brilliant from Jimmy Howard. That was the game there with Perreault breaking in.
He was clean in from the red line. Jimmy Howard turns him aside. Oh, I can't believe it. Puck was just lying there, and then a massive pileup in the crease in front of Jimmy Howard. And he tries to sell the shot and slip this one 5-hole. And Howard brings that right leg back underneath, and then you see Tyler Myers running into Howard. Cannot count there. He's got it open, but it's just that little last kick from Howard keeping it out. See his right leg come back underneath to seal up the 5-hole. And then after that, you can't pitchfork the goalie into the net, as Myers does. Correct, no call on the goal, and what an opportunity for Matthew Perreault, one of the hottest shooters for the Jets.
Here's Bufflin. Did his best to hold off Datsyuk, and then with a foray up deep to the corner, back for Scheifele. Tried to snap one on goal, didn't make it through. Datsyuk plays it around back to the net. Datsyuk. Glendening takes off, trying to tip that puck by Trouba, but nothing doing there. Trouba sealed him off. Here's Bufflin. Oh, almost turned it over to Datsyuk. That would have been a howler.
Oh, man, of all the people.
Bufflin again. Puck rolls in. Howard flips it to the corner. Puck knocked across, in front, up around. Enstrom looking around, tips it up there. Wheeler, back out for Enstrom, plays it across. Myers looks towards the net, delayed penalty coming up against Detroit in overtime. Enstrom shovels the puck up. It was Little who was knocked down beside the net, and a penalty coming up against the Red Wings.
We've already seen several power play goals in this game, and now with just 2:10 on the clock, Kyle Quincy will go to the box.
27 Detroit minor penalty rough.
He's getting a roughing penalty. He gets Brian Little cross check there once, twice, and that one got up near the face, and that's why he draws the penalty. And this is a situation that you do not practice very often. 4-on-3s, they don't happen in games very often. You don't spend a lot of time in practice very often, and that's why you see Pascal Vincent diagramming on the board what they're trying to do, because even the players need to be refreshed 50 some odd games into the year what they're trying to accomplish here in this 4-on-3. And Mike Babcock doing the same for his Detroit Red Wing penalty killers. He's just drawn it up on the dasher board of the bench. Luke Glendening, Drew Miller are terrific penalty killing forwards.
And the Jets have not, sorry Mike, the Jets have not scored a 4-on-3 goal this season.
They're tied at 3 heading into the third, and Andrew Ladd gave the Jets the 4-3 lead with a power play goal there, and then it was Pavel Datsyuk, the magic man. A little backhand, forehand, wrister, top shelf to tie things up. Send us into overtime.
And away we go. What a chance here. Power play in overtime, a 4-on-3. And as Mike pointed out, not a situation teams are presented with that often. Here comes Perreault. Had that great chance earlier in the overtime. Back for Byfuglien. Byfuglien drops it down low. Little was looking for Perreault over there on the right side. Byfuglien up for Little. Top of the point. Byfuglien. Perreault moves in. Back for Byfuglien. Snapped it up there. Little. He's got it. Little looking towards the front of the net. Plays it back for Byfuglien. Over for Little. Shooting. That was not a great outcome there as the stick fell apart. Here's Perreault. Buying a bit of time. Gets it back out. Byfuglien works it up. One-timer fired in by Stafford, and that was stopped. Good chance for Stafford. Byfuglien. Stafford might get another one here. Works in. Passes back. Here's Byfuglien. Waiting. Passing. Stafford tried to work it across in front. He had Ladd there parked in front. Puck work back for Byfuglien. Gets it down in. Tipped in front. A jab at it there from Stafford. And the puck fired but not out. Here's Byfuglien. Moving in. Shooting. That's stopped. Rebound comes out. Here's a chance. Myers drops it down low. Great pressure here. Can they win it? Myers gets it back. Waits. Passes up tight. Stafford. Myers works it across. Byfuglien with it. 15 seconds to go in the power play. Byfuglien. Myers fires one. That was stopped. Knocked down. Red Wings holding them off. This is Stafford. This is Myers. Looking. Byfuglien shoots. That was blocked. Getting in front of it there was Drew Miller. Penalized player back on. Byfuglien shoots. That stop. Rebound in front. It'll come out. Another shot just wide. Jets all over the place. On time. Watch out. We'll go to a shootout. What a finish. What a finish.
What a sequence in front of Jimmy Howard. Drew Miller, Glendening, Cromwell have been out there the entire 2 minutes. They're playing it under control, but now the Jets start teeing them up. Myers and Byfuglien, one-timer after one-timer, jumping on loose pucks, and they just could not quite find a way to beat the penalty killers and Jimmy Howard. And Tyler Myers' best chance there as we go to a shootout.
The Shootout, brought to you by Scotiabank, proud supporter of over 5,000 community hockey teams and Canada's 5th season.
Oh, what a finish to that.
Catch your breath. Unbelievable. And Jimmy Howard better rest up. And the shootout has not been kind to Jimmy Howard. He is 0-6 on the year. And he's been scored on 11 out of 15 attempts. Save percentage, just .267. Not very good this season, whereas Michael Hutchinson has been perfect. 4 for 4, no goals against in his 1 victory. So Jimmy Howard has struggled this year.
One better than that, Mike, with Hutchinson. He has stopped all 7 shootout attempts that he's faced in his entire career.
Got some pretty good shooters coming on him in this game.
Blake Wheeler's going to go first for Winnipeg. 3 for 8 on the shootout this season. And here he comes. Wheeler. He's stopped.
That's been the play on Jimmy Howard. Shooting 5-hole has been very successful this year, and Wheeler tries to find it. Howard turns him aside.
Pavel Datsyuk 3 for 7 on the shootout. Hutchinson never given up a shootout goal in his career. 7 attempts. Tough one here. Datsyuk. He's stopped.
Excellent save from Michael Hutchinson. He doesn't bite at all on the backhand fake from Pavel Datsyuk. When he pulls it over here, he never really commits to pushing to his left, and he's right there, back across the forehand. Good read by Hutchinson.
Brian Little going 2 for 6 on the shootout this year.
Gloves up under the bar on the forehand.
Little.
That's his spot though. Tries to just flip it up and over the glove under the bar. Never got that one quite high enough. Just 2/3 of the way up, not all the way, and it catches the cuff of Jimmy Howard's glove and over top of the net.
Thomas Tatar, 1 for 4 in shootouts this year. And he is stared down by Hutchinson. Wow.
That is excellent stuff from Michael Hutchinson. Does not bite. Tatar slams on the brakes trying to catch Hutchinson, but he just matches him. Very much in control. Great skating here by Hutchinson. Matches the speed, stops when he needs to, and makes the glove save.
Matthew Perreault, who had a great chance to win it in overtime. 1 for 4 in shootouts this year. And he was stopped.
Mishandled it early, bobbled it. Second breakaway in just a couple minutes. He had one in overtime as well, but right here, mishandles it, and he tries to slip it that 5-hole on the recovery. Jimmy Howard turns him aside.
Gus Nyquist. He is 4 for 9 in shootouts this year. Best percentage on the Detroit team. And he's stopped there.
Well done by Michael Hutchinson. Staring down the shooters, not getting too deep into his net, and forcing them to beat him with an excellent shot, and blocker right out there. Look how aggressive he is, though. Nowhere near even the blue paint when he's making this save. Daring the Red Wing shooters to try to deke him, not giving up the net on the shots.
Drew Stafford 0 for 1. Missing his only shootout attempt this year, and he's very deliberate here. Scores!
Slow things down, then speed them up for Drew Stafford. And simple little move, change the angle and scoop it up and over, much like Brian Little was trying to do. Just got that one a little higher. Jimmy Howard gets down a little lower for the Jets' first goal.
It's going to be Stephen Weiss. And he has not taken a shootout attempt this season. Big one here. And he doesn't score, and the Winnipeg Jets, with a heck of an effort on the road, come away with the shootout victory. 5-4 over Detroit.
Well done. What a game by both teams, but gutty effort from the Jets. And the new boys making some contributions. Tyler Myers, Drew Stafford with the winner, and Michael Hutchinson still remains perfect. Has yet to be beaten on a shootout attempt in his career. And that is a big, full 2 points in a very difficult building to play in. Well done by the Winnipeg Jets.
The Jets come in and get it done on the road. What an effort, and they're in the thick of that wild card race.